Points as they make it a third consecutive victory, wrap up this little homestand. Perfect 3-0 with a 2-1 win over the Tampa Bay Lightning in what was a pretty darn good hockey game. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. Tom Gazzola with you. We'll be joined by our game analyst, Joaquin Gage, as well as my co-host and our producer, Hernan Salas, as Edmonton picks up its 15th victory of the season. Of course, you can text us 780-218-9999. Get it to the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe for sure. For those of you that haven't already, we are on the march to 11,000 subscribers, and Dustin Nielsen will eat pickled herring. Ugh, gross. When we get there. So we're hoping we get there before Christmas. Yes, indeed. The Oilers winning tonight, and we'll get to the scoring summary and the game stats from this one. Give Edmonton 16 wins. Pardon me, as they had 15 coming in to tonight. All right, we begin with the scoring summary, and then we'll get to Gager and Hernan in the first period. Connor McDavid would open things up at 17:31. Nice little burst. Great pass by Leon Draisaitl. McDavid gets Connor Geekie going looking and spinning the wrong way, and he tucks it past Andrei Vasilevsky for his 14th. Brett Kulak, the secondary assist. The Oilers did have a goal nullified on an offside earlier in the period. An absolute rocket by Matthias Ekholm taken off the board. Zach Hyman had gone offside about 15, 20 seconds prior to that. 1-0 Oil after one. 10:02 into the second period. Jake Gazzola would tie it up, his 13th of the year from Kucherov, and point after an absolutely egregious giveaway by Evan Bouchard. I don't know who he was trying to pass it through from the half wall in his own zone. Tries to get it through two Lightning players. Gets picked off a pass, and then Gazzola gets it by Stu Skinner, who had to contend with a sprawling Derek Ryan in front of him. 1-1 at that point. However, less than 2 minutes later, Leon Draisaitl would score. I guess the NHL has it listed as an own goal. Draisaitl's 20th of the year. He breaks in on Andrei Vasilevsky, is stopped. Vasilevsky goes to swipe it out of the crease. Get that garbage out of here. He banks it in off of Victor Hedman. The Oilers take that fortuitous bounce, and they would not look back and hang on the rest of the way for the 2-1 win. Shots on goal, 25-22 in favor of Edmonton. Face-offs, it would be the Lightning winning that battle, 51.7% to 48.3%. Oilers power play goes 0 for 2. The PK, 2 for 2. Big kill late in the third period. We thought that there might have been a goal, but it was ruled that it was played by Nick Paul on a high stick. And then, the guys on the broadcast were talking about if it had gone in off of Darnell Nurse, but all of that was for naught, as it was upheld as no goal. Hits, 14-9 in favor of the Lightning. Block shots, 14-10 in favor of the Oilers. Giveaways, officially 16 for Edmonton, 14 for Tampa. Takeaways, 4 for the Lightning, 2 for the Oilers. The final score, 2-1 in favor of Edmonton. Give the Oil their 16th win of the season. Well, let's welcome in the boys now. Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas. That was a good game, fellas. We knew it would be a tough one, but whoever wants to take it, what did you? Let's go, Gager. If you want to take it first, just the way the Oilers were able to pull that one out and hang on just by the skin of their teeth, they get it done.
Great game, Tommy. I think we talked a lot about a full team effort, and I think that's what you got. That didn't mean, everyone ends up on the score sheet at the end of the night, but there was big contributions all over the ice. Kapanen, huge blocks in the third period, right? The backtracking. The Tampa Bay Lightning are a really good team, and if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And the Oilers, their defensive structure, the 5 men back, the sticks on pucks. Louis mentioned it, I believe, in the second period, how the positioning, the body on body, stick on puck, how they were working in the defensive zone, and when they got the puck, the the 5 to 8 or 10 foot pass to come out of the zone nice and clean every time. Smart decisions with the puck. The one blemish, with the goal against, was trying to do too much with the puck again. Bouchard, simple play, going D to D with Ekholm. They come right out of the zone. Instead, he sees someone up by the red line, tries to thread it, ends up in the back of the net. And against a team like that, you make those types of mistakes where you start running around in your own zone and don't have that solid structure. They make you pay. And there wasn't a lot. But again, just like last game, the Tampa Bay Lightning had to generate chances by skilled plays or doing something special to get in on Stuart Skinner. And both goalies were just fantastic tonight. So Andrei Vasilevsky, he's so great to watch. Excellent. It's very, very nice to watch that guy play goal. He is the perfect combination of structure, sound movement, and also the ability to make a big save. And Stuart Skinner was no slouch at all. That save on Paul is such a difficult save. Even the one on Hedman, if you remember in the third period, traffic in front, and he just finds it through legs and screens and is able to not allow a second chance opportunity. Just a lot of great stuff to build on from this game, Tommy.
Nancito.
Yeah, it was okay. Good game. Good. Two good teams going toe-to-toe. Oilers started a little slow. They got the power play early, and I think Louis alluded to it. He said, I don't care if it's early in the game. You're not feeling it, get pucks on net. They're a little sluggish there. The goal called back, but it didn't affect them. And they were still able to find a way to get that first goal. And it was a good game, back and forth. Vasilevsky was outstanding in this game. Yeah. Skinner was solid, made the saves he had to. There was one there in the third. It was kind of a deflection. He got it with the left pad. It was a really tough save. He had 22 shots on net, 21 saves. But overall, Tom, you can't be upset with this. You know what's funny? In the second period, I was like, it was early. I was like, this second line's not showing much. And then, boom, they just turned it on. Draisaitl, Kapanen, Podkolzin were awesome. Kapanen with a big block there at the end, really earning it. Skating well and kind of generating some. I mean, him and Podkolzin, you probably want more offense in terms of points, but I think what they're doing is fine. And I think a few players, Tom, that are regulars in this lineup are probably sweating a bit, because when Arvidsson and Kane come back, there's going to be some tough decisions, because Kapanen keeps playing like he is. He ain't coming out of lineup, and there's a lot of guys on this team not playing up to snuff, right? So you got to be impressed with the Edmonton Oilers. They keep rolling. They beat a really good team. I know we're going to discuss that last goal that was waved off. I think a lot of people, and obviously here in Oilerland, everybody's happy, but it was an interesting call.
Yes.
Because it was, did Darnell Nurse close his hand on it? Did he punch it into his own net and all that? But, and just to kind of echo what Joaquin said, like Vasilevsky, man, he stopped 3 of 4 breakaways, 2 by Draisaitl, 2 by McDavid.
Yep.
That guy is the elite of the elite of the elite, because even on the blunder on the second goal, guys, he bounced back, and he probably told his team, guys, they're not getting another one by me, so let's just find that tying goal. What a player he is, and it was fun to watch the game. Like I said, 2 good teams going toe-to-toe here, and good for the Oilers, man. This is such positive that they can win these close games. And remember, post-game, someone texted in, what do you want to see in these next 5 games? I want to see them win the tight games, and they were able to do that tonight. So kudos to the Edmonton Oilers. Another big 2 points, and Stuart Skinner, Darnell Nurse, excellent with some great passes. Bouchard, good and bad, of course, but I thought overall there's not much to nitpick tonight about the Edmonton Oilers game.
Hey, that pass by Darnell Nurse was a thing of beauty to spring Leon Draisaitl on what would be the eventual own goal. There was talk in the press box about getting him that assist, but no dice, I guess, from the National Hockey League. Great play by Darnell Nurse to spring Leon Draisaitl. All right,
Tommy,
your thoughts.
You talk about a great pass, but you're missing the greatest pass of all that happened tonight, and it happened on the first goal. And it was the second assist, but it should have been the first assist, was from Edmonton Oilers' most consistent player all year, Brent Kulak, when obviously this guy grew up in the pool halls out in Stony, because that bank pass that he sent to Leon before Leon sends it to Connor was a thing of beauty. He was being forced, quick little bank off the boards, tape to tape. Leon finds him. Just another great play out of their zone. And
he got laid out too.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good hit.
Yeah. Takes the hit, makes the
play. Lilleberg got him. Lilleberg, Emil Lilleberg. So, yeah. And hey, Natso, like Goncalves or is it Gonsalves?
You know what? I was thinking, because I heard Jack say it, and I said it earlier on our show, and that's obviously like a Portuguese name. So I really don't know. You know what? When we go to audio or something, I'm gonna go grab. We have the pronouncer guide here. I'm gonna go grab it. And
I can pull that up too.
Okay, because I was intrigued by that too.
Yeah, I
just call him Gager, boys. You do it all the time. Whenever.
Well, great first name. You would definitely say that. I know you would. Go ahead.
I'd probably say Goncalves. Gage,
and that's how I said it.
Yeah, but was Jack saying it different?
He said Gonsalves, and I was like, wait a sec. I'm going to look at it. Let's see what the NHL has. I have it right here, man. Like, that was killing me because I'm like, I don't know. But Jack's a stickler for that, although when he gets a name in his head, he just sticks to it, and he doesn't change. Like, remember we had to change Andre Sekera to, like, Sekera?
Yeah.
And that was a Jack thing, and it was like, okay, whatever. But, all right, let's see here. Do they even have him in here? It is Gonsalves.
Okay, yeah.
Gage Gonsalves.
Okay.
Gonsalves. So we had it wrong. Damn it, Jack. All right, you have your say. 780-218-9999. Get into the inbox and then into the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. Of course, the Oil Stream post-game show brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Let's go to this one from Mac Lamec. Says, great game by the Oilers. Other than the goal after the post-wizardry move by Skinner, he played solid. McDavid's goal live was amazing. Mac Lamec, that was a thing of beauty. I don't know why Geeky turned the wrong way, but McDavid definitely saw that and honed in on it. The goal against the Oilers, the turnover was egregious by Bouchard. Mm-hmm. But then, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Gage. That's why I didn't text you. I just want to bring it up on air. I know Ryan is going down in front of Skinner, and Gensel is an excellent goal scorer in the NHL. How do you assess the way Skinner played that goal? Because I'm sure there's some that saw it go in, hit him, go through, and we're like, Skinner.
Like, those are difficult because I always didn't like when guys got caught in no man's land where Ryan was, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes down. I would almost rather just stand up, like make yourself big, try to get in a shooting lane, because once you try to go down and take even more of the ice away, if you had the GoPro on Stuart Skinner's helmet, and saw what his eyes see, he doesn't see anything, mm-hmm. right? It's almost better just to let him kind of have the shot at that point, give him the best opportunity, because that's kind of a screen. I think he picks it up late off the stick because I don't think he sees it leave. Or there's a part where he just loses sight of that puck on its way to the net, and then it just kind of squeaks through. That play should have never happened in the first place. But give your goalie a chance, because when you're in that mid zone, as a player, you're creating more problems than there actually is, because you're going down, you're taking yourself completely out of the play, you're screening your own goaltender. If you can get closer to the puck, fine. But I'd rather just stand up, let your goalie kind of take the shot, mm-hmm. and then you're just making sure that guy doesn't get his own rebound or something like that.
Yeah, and Bouchard looked really upset after that goal because he's going to land on low lights tomorrow, Gager.
Speaking of that, Ace96 says Skinner was very good tonight. This is via the nasty chat. And then Jack just says Bouchard would like a definition on egregious turnover. I can happily provide that. Egregious, outstandingly bad, shocking, or remarkably good, which is the egregious. So yeah, outstandingly bad. Egregious abuses of copyright is the one example, and then egregious play on that goal by Evan Bouchard. So yeah, I can provide that definition, no problem.
And boys, of course, Skinner's on a roll right now, and our boy Matt Cassian's in Mexico enjoying some margaritas here, and because he takes a lot of heat for Stuart Skinner. He's on a roll, boys. He's catching fire here, and I know in the pregame show we were asked if you roll him this week. If I still have a feeling they're going to go to Calvin Pickard on Thursday, but when Skinner's playing this well, guys, I almost feel like you're in between games here. There's no back-to-backs. You got to roll the hot hand.
That's something you were talking about too, right, Gager?
Yeah. Just looking at the games, because I believe it's Boston on the next week game, right? Yeah. So, and they just I think they got destroyed tonight.
8-1.
And the fights in that game were a thing of like unbelievable.
Yeah. So, there's a team ripe for the picking, I think, and still good. I have no problem putting Pickard in that game. But I think, I think you roll Skinner out again Thursday. 9.55 tonight save percentage. Like he's been consistently over 9.5 over the past few games. Let's you gotta ride him till he bucks you here. I think there's just too much confidence going up against Vasilevsky, seeing what he's doing at the other end while you're doing kind of the same thing. I mean that save on Kucherov when he does that slick little move. Man, that goes in a lot. Like there's a few guys that can try that and you kind of can pick it up. I must have rewound that like 5 or 6 times and discussed with myself if I would have stopped that thing. And there was an internal conversation that would have probably went 5-hole on me. Right.
Because guys, like when he goes in on the breakaway, I was like, what happened? Did he lose? Because it almost like right away you think he lost control of the puck.
No.
But then you see the replay, and this guy is so damn cheeky. I love it. I love it.
Craig McTavish said it in the in between periods there on the panel. He's just so silky with those 5 to 7 foot like it's always on the tape, just so dangerous all the time. Like has the puck, it looks like he doesn't have much, and then he just kind of feathers a puck over to Hedman, and gets out of trouble or down low. Just he's a beautiful hockey player to watch, man. He is something else. It's too bad we only get to see him a few times a year. I'd love to watch more, and you can see the reason why that he had 100 assists last year. That guy is magic.
He was unreal. By the way, boys, I'm just looking at the standings right now because I was taking a peek ahead to Minnesota on Thursday. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games, obviously rolling quite nicely. So I understand the desire to go back to Stu Skinner, who's been playing really well. And then the other thing I noticed when I was looking at the standings, like the Pacific Division is red hot right now. And it's the Central that's kind of tapered off a tiny bit. Winnipeg with the big win tonight, but they had 4 wins in their last 10 going into tonight. Dallas, 6-4 in the last 10, had 1 win, but you've got a 3-game winning streak for Vegas. You got LA on a 6-game heater and 8-2 in its last 10. Edmonton now 3-game heater and 7-3 in its last 10. The Avs though have put together 3 straight wins. Man, it is tight in the Pacific Division. Vancouver falling out of a playoff spot tonight. 5-4-1 is their record in the last 10. And then you got Seattle that's kind of a little bit in the mix, but not so much at 29 points. So it's interesting how things are playing out right now in the Western Conference and then specifically in the Pacific.
Vancouver's down right now in the third to St. Louis 3-2. Calgary picked up a win in Nashville. The Kings won again. Colorado won, and Minnesota trails also late in the third to Utah. So, it's going to be a battle in the West.
Tommy, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a moment tonight that I found myself like just smiling or chuckling when McDavid scores that second goal. Something was said It looked like Draisaitl said it, but there was a lot of laughs for a game that's so tight and going up just by a goal there. It was a pretty cool moment for those guys to see McDavid kind of smiling and happy after that goal went in. I wondered what Draisaitl said. I think it was probably something to do with not scoring on the first breakaway he had and seeing Connor kind of smile. But I love seeing like the humanity of these guys, that they're not robots, right? Today we were talking about with the Avalanche and AJ, and he was saying how one of the things that they're missing with that lineup is a little levity. Some guys that can just decrease the pressure a little bit. And Gabriel Landeskog was a great person to have in the room, because he said sometimes Nathan McKinnon can be a little bit too serious, right? And to not only you want to stay that even keel, but that goes with your attitude towards games too. Have that that nice even way that the pressure doesn't get too much to you. And I thought that was an interesting moment to see the Edmonton Oilers. It just shows a little bit more experience and being comfortable with uncomfortability with that type of situation where it's such a close game.
And
Good
they're
indicator.
having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? Well, it's fun when you win and you're playing good.
Is it though? No.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, 780-218-9999. The Oilers win it 2-1 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Oilers have a 3-game winning streak. 8 of their last 14 they have now, 10 of their last 14 they have now won, and they will look to stay hot when they get a tough test in the Minnesota Wild in St. Paul on Thursday night. Let's go to Coach Mike, who texts in, says, Noodles joked 2-1 game on the morning show. Skinner solid, good team win. Reeves knocked Nurse back in time into the 2021 season. Jokes aside, Nurse is playing great. Coach Mike also adds, it seems like Skinner has tracked the puck better the last few weeks. I feel like that Cooch move goes in 3 weeks ago. Coach Mike, our resident goalie, Gage, do you want to touch on that maybe 3 weeks ago? I think Skinner, for the most part, has put together a solid season. And I don't necessarily agree that it was his fault or he was bad when the team was bad. But maybe that one goes in. And Kucherov looks like he's able to flick that puck even quicker than he used to, too.
Yeah, those, the Paul save, it wasn't just, it was Stuart Skinner getting off his post, taking the ice back, getting down like in solid, but still tracking from that point on. I think that's what we're referring to there. He followed into that really good left pad save, and even the Kucherov goal, like to be that, have that much patience, I guess, when you see Nikita Kucherov come down on you, and the ability to realize what he's doing with that move and still stay solid. Like most goalies would be on the right side of the net at that point, right? So, no, he's seeing the puck really well, tracking it really well. Rebound control is good. This is the Stuart Skinner. I mean, it's probably going to go game to game in this city with Stuart Skinner on the likes and dislikes. But tonight, he deserved to be second star.
You think Tampa fans, boys, are chirping Vasilevsky for that second goal? Because he was outstanding. I don't care if he shot it off Hedman and all that.
That's an honest move, though. Like, you want to clear it, right? A little unlucky. Yeah. And he probably saw the Oilers coming in, so he just wanted to get the puck out of there. I don't fault him too much on that one.
No. Eden says, evening, boys. Very competitive game. As a part of this stretch, Nurse and Skinner are making solid contributions. My question is, are these two simply meeting expectations, or are they exceeding them? I'll say meeting them. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Darnell Nurse is playing way over his head and all that. No, Darnell Nurse is doing what he's supposed to do. This is what the Darnell Nurse we knew from a couple of years ago, guys. Good defensively, keeping it simple, making solid tape-to-tape passes. This is the Darnell Nurse the fans have wanted. let's put the contract aside for now. He's playing solid hockey. He's giving Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard a nice option there that they can trust that second pair no matter who's with them. Because it's Kulak sometimes, Stetcher the other time. And for me, Stuart Skinner, I'm with you, Tom. I think he's had bad games, sure. Has he let some stinkers in? Sure. But I think the overall picture, I think Stuart Skinner's been good, really good on some nights. So I don't think they're exceeding expectations. I think they're right where they're supposed to be.
And would that in part be Stuart Skinner taking the next step in his career? Is that what we're seeing now that he's kind of finding this groove and rhythm? Gage, or what would you say to that?
He's only going to get better over the next few years, right? He's still quite young, 25 years old, I believe.
26, yeah.
26. So, this is, I'm a firm believer that a goalie doesn't really get to their peak until 28, 29, 30 in there where they've seen a lot, their bodies are, their peak physical condition. And just being able to be a young goalie for that amount of time, like growing up in the NHL, it becomes second nature a little bit. And the advantage of, there is a slight advantage of playing against the same players over and over and over again. You start to learn tendencies, the way other teams work. I think that's just, I guess, experience is what I'm talking about most. And he's gained a ton of it over these last 3 seasons. And he's just implementing that into his game right now.
All right, boys, we got to get to the turning point of the game. Of course, that brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. And I think this one's pretty straightforward tonight. But at Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. And I know there was some interesting moments, especially late with that penalty kill. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it on the fly. I was going to go with the goal by Leon Draisaitl, which was the own goal. Yeah. But I will say, and I will give it to the penalty kill, when the Lightning went 6-on-4, and the Oilers, I think, had a couple of clears. They were getting sticks on pucks. I know there was that crazy scramble that led to the review with 8.6 seconds left. But I think that last minute 45 sequence when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was in the box, that was the turning point of the game. The penalty kill pretty much stepped up, and the Oilers did not get scored on, although they became ridiculously close to getting scored on, albeit illegally. I will say that's the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. I was going to go with the Draisaitl goal, boys, but I think that minute 45 stretch there is actually the turning point for this one tonight. What would you guys say?
Yeah, there was at no point did I really feel. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning were pressing hard, and they had some good looks, but just the way that the Edmonton Oilers are penalty killing now, Tommy, like there's definite a method to their madness of the penalty kill. The way they funnel guys to go to where they want to be, like the sticks are always in the right lanes, forcing them to the outside or forcing them down low when they get a chance. Mm-hmm. And the how to create a really good penalty kill is the read and reaction of the other 3 guys when one guy commits to something and everyone adjusts. The movement of the PK seems way more like it did the latter part of last year than if you have some old games on your PVR that you've seen, watch the PK. It's everyone's got 2x4s for legs. Like there's not a lot of movement. And I'm trying to think of who was talking about it. It might have been Enrique that was commenting, and he just said we didn't have enough movement in our PK before, and now we're getting a little bit used to it. And it's essentially it's 4 guys working harder than 5, And the most important thing about the PK is when there is an opportunity to clear the puck and get it out of the zone, the Oilers are doing that. Like, you don't see a lot of really big puck retrievals and other teams keeping one penalty killing unit in the zone for a long period of time. Once they get that opportunity, it's getting out of the zone.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty solid tonight for sure. All right, let's go to the inbox a couple more times here. The Liquid Beaver says, nice win. Stu was excellent again. How good has Brett Kulak been for the Oilers? So steady. Bouchard should take some lessons. Well, Liquid Beaver, Joaquin Gage has Brett Kulak on his Norris ballot, so that's how good he's been this year. Troll says Bouchard doing his best Broberg impression, and then also adds McDavid and Draisaitl better than Kucherov tonight. Skinner better than the best goalie in the league tonight, even though you can't win with him. Apparently, in parentheses, I think in sarcastic parentheses, good win, says Troll. Hampton Steve texts in, says, good evening, gents. A solid defensive effort by the Oilers tonight. I am really liking what I'm seeing from Kapanen, and having Podkolzin on the ice defending the lead in the final minute speaks to his strong defensive play. Both guys will look good on the third and fourth lines once this team is healthy. Go ahead. I can hear you winding up.
No. I just breathe loud.
Okay. I thought you wanted to unload.
No, but that's
something.
a good because I brought it up earlier where guys Derek Ryan played 6 minutes tonight. He was the only one under 10 minutes. I think he's in a little bit of trouble, guys.
Absolutely.
I think Corey Perry might not be an everyday regular when everybody's healthy. Hell, I'll even throw in Connor Brown, man. He hasn't brought much lately because you have options and you have good options, guys. It's not young guys. It's veterans like Kapanen. But Colson's not going anywhere, guys. Arvidsson's going to play when he's healthy. So is Evander Kane. Noah Philp might be a call-up in the new year that they want to incorporate into this bottom six, guys. So
right.
I think it's only good for this team, though, that you're going to have these issues because then guys are going to be that more hungry to go and keep their spot in the lineup.
Can that happen? I always look at it as a positive thing, Joaquin, what Hernan just said, competition, having your to look over your shoulder. Can it have a negative effect too, or do you think it's generally a good thing in your experiences?
It depends on the intestinal fortitude of the player, I think, a little bit. But I think you need to have that, Tommy. You need to have that external pressure of if I don't bring my best game, or if I might not be in the lineup the next night. I might be watching from the press box, and in those type of areas, look, this isn't just a building year here. This is a year where the Oilers are looking to win a Stanley Cup, and you want to have your best lineup every single night. And when guys things aren't going well, and you get into that, well, okay, I'll try again next time. It's a completely different way to view the game. Where if you've been out for 2 games and coach calls your number, you go into the dressing room, you see your jersey in your locker. There's a little bit more motivation to do special things, to sacrifice, to show the coaching staff that you're willing to do whatever it takes, not only to win hockey games, but to stay in the lineup.
I think it's safe to say we're seeing that with Kasperi Kapanen right now. I see a lot of love for Kapanen in the nasty chat as well as the inbox. And you guys touched on it earlier, the way he's moving, handling the puck with confidence, making plays out there, sacrificing his body like we touched on as well. There's a prime example of that, a guy trying to stay in the National Hockey League. So I like this competition thing, but yeah, I'm always curious if some guys, maybe they can't take it as well as others, but I suppose they get weeded out, right?
I mean, in a perfect world, I think just having a more experienced lineup where guys know that that's a possibility, right? And we saw that down the stretch last year and even into the playoffs. There was I think Fogle came out of the lineup, right?
Yep.
Came back in when was a huge factor in the next game. Corey Perry came out. What did he do when he came back in? You noticed almost every shift he made. And that's a guy at 38 years old at the time, right?
Yep.
It's a massive motivator to get back in the lineup and to get ice time. So yeah, it's it's going to be interesting when this team gets healthy again, because there's guys that have made the decision making for the coaching staff to when they put together the starting roster for games. It's going to be there's going to be a lot to think about.
780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to EST. Nanso, do we have any clips to get to yet?
I'll have Darnell Nurse in about 1 minute. Let's give Doc some love here. I'm going to give the guys that take a lot of heat, and I include myself in that, some love tonight. So we're going to hear from Stewie Skins and Darnell Nurse.
All right. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas with you as we roll along. I'll read a couple texts. Gage, you got a few more minutes, or do you want to take off?
You bet. I can stay to hear. I want to hear what the doc has to say.
All right. You've been excellent all night, Gager. A big day at EST when Joaquin Gage is dialed in. 9 out of 10 days he's dialed in. Let's go to Dirty Curdy. Texan says, Oilers playing excellent Team D and minus Bouchard's blunder, a playoff-like win. Kapanen winning over fans with the speed and shot blocking exploits. Skinner making the saves he needed to. What do we do with Jeff Skinner? Too ineffective. Murderers Row coming up. Dirty Curdy with that text. Stanley in YYC texting in saying, great game. Good to see them close it out in a tight, low-scoring game. Kudos to 74 and the team defense holding the line. We get lucky bounce to go our way. Refs take away one of our goals and one of theirs. It's only fair. I could live without the constant offside reviews in the NHL. It's weird and frustrating waiting to cheer for a goal until the puck drops and play resumes. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Stanley in YYC. I said offside when that play happened, and then they were in the Lightning zone long enough that I had forgot I even said anything, and I was like, well, I guess my eyes suck. Wrong. I was actually right. I hate being right in those scenarios, but that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. That rule, it's tough. If there has to be some onus on the team to play proper defense, I think at that point. Like if it goes over a certain amount of time, maybe it's like you can't challenge, right? If the puck's in the zone for more than 25 seconds, then or whatever. I'm just throwing out numbers there. I don't know what the exact number should be because the rule was put in so something like Duchesne doesn't happen ever again, which he's 10 feet offside, right? And scores. So, I mean, why even have linesmen? Because they just, if it's even remotely close, they just say it's good and then just wait to go to the camera. It's, I mean, they're just basically dropping pucks and calling icings at this point.
Well, I was going to say what linesmen are good for right now is getting into fights, breaking up fights way too early, and then teasing us with dropping the puck and throwing guys out of the circle, which is so damn annoying. They want their TV time too, boys. They want their TV time too, evidently.
Does Leon lead the league in getting kicked out of the face-off circle, man? Holy smokes.
I think he's got to be right up there for sure. First guy to 20 goals this year, by the way. We should give him his flowers on that one. I
saw that stat tonight. Leon will be I think the only Edmonton Oilers player to pass Gretzky and Messier for 20-goal seasons. It's almost guaranteed. He's tied at 9.
Yep.
I think the most is 10. He's going to score 20 for the next 5 years. So Absolutely. It's amazing that he's going ahead of some of the names of these guys that have been with the Edmonton Oilers.
Just speaks to how good him and 97 are for sure. All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Hernan, who are we going to hear from first?
Darnell Nurse, who's having an excellent season, and that makes Oiler fans very happy. Here's Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good offensive team, too, that we played against. A lot of firepower, I think. When you could come in, we had the mindset, you want to win 1-0, 2-1, and we were able to execute on that. And Stu made some huge saves for us at big moments as well. I think it's a good sign for us.
Darnell, Leon just talked about how well you've been playing for a while. I don't even love to talk about yourself, but you don't get an assist on either goal on the sheet, but you make 2 really good plays. Can you just talk about how you're feeling about your game? And there just doesn't seem to be any urgency. I mean, like not over urgent at times. It's very calm.
Yeah, just trying to go out there, see plays, make plays. I have confidence in my ability to go out there and make it. So it's been good. I think, for me, came this year, wanted to have a high standard for myself to come out and play well for the team each and every night, and it's been going well. But once you set the standard, you got to continue to build off it night after night. So not content at all.
Finest playing against Kucherov and Point and those guys as a defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, they're such special talents, obviously, in this league, and you watch the stuff that they're able to do nightly. So anytime you get that challenge to be able to get out there some shifts and defend and try to defend hard and take away the offensive side of it for them, it's a fun challenge.
That save by Stu with 9 seconds left. He's come up pretty big for you guys here the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's been so good for us in key moments, I think. Obviously, there's been, for us, it feels like our game is coming and the tide's turning a little bit, and he's such a big part of that. It's not just this year so far. You look at last year and his contribution to our team and how huge he is for us, and it's fun to watch.
Leon said that we should talk about you more and not be so hard on you. He kind of gave it to us a bit.
I appreciate that from him, actually. I don't know. Sometimes I like to go and I don't really have social media and stuff, but sometimes I like to go and read what everyone says in here, and then I get to come see you all the next day. So I don't know. Say whatever you want.
Been a little better this year, though.
Yeah, a little better. I mean, that's gotta keep playing, I guess.
Darnell, this group likes to use the word mature a lot in terms of the way you guys approach things. Is this kind of the epitome of that, this effort tonight, and the way you kind of locked it down?
Yeah, I think and two, I think, we look at our game in St. Louis and probably didn't come out and play the first 5 minutes of that third period the way we wanted to. And, for a mature team to come out, we showed that we learned that lesson, that we got to continue to do that night after night.
All right, so Darnell Nurse having a little fun there, rightly so, continues to play well. Strong game from him. Tonight, he sets up the Draisaitl goal. They don't give him the assist because it was classified as an own goal by Vasilevsky, knocking it in off of Hedman, but it was a great feed up the middle, good recognition, crisp pass from Nurse to Draisaitl to spring him on that breakaway officially tonight. +1 for Nurse, 23-15 time on ice, 3 shots, 4 block shots, 2 hits, 2 giveaways. And I'll say this too. It's interesting because Bouchard, Ekholm, and Nurse, all of them right around the exact same time on ice. Bouchard leads the way, I guess you could call it, 23-16. Ekholm and Nurse both played 23-15. And then the guy who's just saving it for the Norris this year, Brett Kulak, plays 21-29. Emberson at 13-52 and Stetcher at 12-18. Joaquin, some of the takeaways listening to Darnell there.
No, the smile. It's good to see Darnell smile. I think he's enjoying himself a little bit more. I think, to me, finding chemistry with Kulak has been a big reason for the success of Darnell Nurse. He looks poised out there. It doesn't seem like in past, I don't know what the phrase would be, but kind of chasing the game is how I might describe it, like trying to make a difference every shift. And I think if we look back to the bubble season, he was letting the game come to him a little bit more and then negotiating from there. Guys, I had the ISO cam on him a lot tonight. I just wanted to see how he dealt with those challenges of facing the aforementioned Point and Kucherov. He was doing such a good job of separating man from puck, and his decision making was so quick with just the 5 to 10 foot pass, just bang, tape to tape, out of the zone. I don't know if the Oilers have talked about this recently, but what I've noticed most from prior games that they didn't have their best. They seem to be going back into their own end and regrouping and trying to come out in a controlled and breakout and stuff. Right. And that's fine to do at times, and you have to. But I think the switch from offense to defense is a lot quicker now. And I don't know, and it might be something that they've talked about, but it seems like all the D-men to a man aren't, circling back and waiting to do that control. They're trying to reattack quicker. And we talk, are the Oilers fast enough? That was the biggest thing. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are a fast team, and the Oilers did not look out of place in it. I would say at times during tonight's game, they actually looked like the quicker team. And I think that's part of it, is when there is a turnover, wherever it may be on the ice, they're making the decisions quick and making really good passes.
Really sharp. Go ahead, Hernan.
I was just gonna say, with the way Darnell Nurse is playing, it's so exciting. I imagine for Oiler fans and the people that cover this team, because if the management can group and go out and get another top four, then you're set, Tom. Because Kulak, whether he's in your top four or he's your rock on the third pair, you're set. And the way Amberson's playing, I mean, we're not talking about him a lot, and that's a good thing. He's just been a steady Eddie out back there, right? Like you don't notice him. He's not making any errors. I'm not pointing out to him. He's not landing on highlights, lowlights. He's just playing solid. And then imagine if you could rotate Stetcher and Emerson, and then you have your top four solidified with the four guys playing solid hockey, along with Kulak, who could be in your top four. I mean, it's just they're one player away on that back end, especially because Nurse has bounced back this year, guys. That makes such a huge difference for this team.
Might I add one little thing? Evan Bouchard tightens it up as well.
He has to.
Defensively,
And from what we've seen, he's a second half player, sure, playoff guy. Because the last two playoffs, guys, he's been outstanding.
He's been good later in seasons. Absolutely.
He's just got to get that play he made today. I don't know why he's trying to make it. And I get it. He's offensive. He's creative. But if he can get that play out of his game, he'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Who do we have, Hernan?
The best goaltender on the night, Stuart Skinner. Here he is.
It happened with 10 to 8.6 seconds left.
Yeah, it was pretty. Obviously, we knew that they were going to try to get a really good scoring chance, so threw a nice pass. Got a nice shot off, and then after that, it was kind of a bit of a blur, and I don't really get to see the whole thing. So I kind of rushed to the bench and just was asking the guys on the bench, like, what do you guys see on the review? Do you guys think it's a goal or no goal? I was just more so concerned if it was going to be like what the call was going to be.
On a night like this, I mean, you made some good saves, but it felt like your team did a pretty good job of limiting the high-end stuff that Tampa often gets.
Yeah, very good. Especially in the third period, there were some times where they made some really good passes, and I was a little bit out of the play, and Stetchy got a stick on it. Cooley got a nice stick on it. Big block by Cappy. A really smart defensive play by Eki. I mean, I could go down the list of how many good defensive plays that we made tonight. So I kind of felt like that was on both sides. Like it was just a game of intelligence and smarts, and that's why it was such a tight game.
Kucherov breakaway. Have you ever seen that move before? I think it's hard to tell on that move.
Yeah, I've never seen it on myself, and I was kind of like, it's about time that he tried something like that on me. And after I made the save, I was just like, it's nice to make a Kucherov save, because he makes smart plays like that all the time. He's obviously scored like that a few times, so that's what makes him so unpredictable. I mean, he's a heck of a player, so I'm just happy I was able to stay down on it.
So a year ago, after you played Tampa, you stood here and you did a big mea culpa. You didn't like your game. You blamed the game on yourself, the loss on yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me, how much have you progressed in the last 12 months? Aren't they?
Yeah, massively. I mean, the amount of things that I've been able to go through personally, and obviously us as a team through the last 12 months has been, crucial in the sense of where I am now as a man, as a father, as a goalie, in so many ways. So I'm just going to continue to keep on growing as a human being and keep on doing my best.
I know how highly you think of the other guy as a goalie, and the other end of the ice, Vasilevsky. What does it mean to you to be able to, be one save better than him tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic tonight. I mean, he got 4 or 5 breakaways. It was he was pretty incredible for them. Made some big stops, especially at the right time. Obviously, we had a power play. Connor got a really nice shot on. And he made a really nice blocker save. So, heck of a goalie. Not too much he could have done on the goals against. It was just a full-on team battle on both sides for the whole 60 minutes. I think it was just a really, really solid game. I mean, it's a 2-1 game. It's a good NHL game.
Stu, how do you approach the next 3? Like the regular season's pretty long, but you don't always get a run where you're playing top teams. Is it more fun when you get a Minnesota, Vegas, Florida stretch?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's always fun. Like just being able to play in this league, so it's pretty cool. But to be honest, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, I think it brings a certain amount of energy and amount of focus too, just because it's, you're going up against big teams. It kind of tells you where we are as a team when it comes to playing, tight games. Like, you're up by 1 goal, you got to kind of snuff out a team for the last, 20 minutes. How are we going to be able to do it? So a lot of lessons learned and a lot of moments like that where we're going to be able to, see what we're capable of.
All right, that was Stu Skinner. A lot there, a little reflection as well. Gager, let's get some thoughts on what Stu Skinner said there, and then a quick look ahead from you.
Well, underlying message there was he went up against Vasilevsky and won. Like he was praising the guy at the other end, but he talked about a very cerebral game on both sides. Really good defensive plays, I think, on both sides of the ice. But he was able to stop one more puck than Andrei Vasilevsky was, and I think that's huge. There's a reason why when you look at his numbers over the past 6 games, they've increased, and it's a team game, right? Like, I think there's a confidence level throughout everyone that your goalie's there for you if there is a mistake, right? But there's also that extra effort to make getting the puck. You have to go through layers now, it seems like, with the Edmonton Oilers, and even when you get to the level where Stu is at, he's making really good saves. I don't know who asked the question, and I didn't like it too much. It sounded like a lot of these were routine saves for Stuart Skinner. There was nothing there. The patience and the positioning that is required to make those saves is very, very difficult. The issue sometimes with Stuart Skinner is he makes a lot of this stuff look pretty easy. Sometimes people think goalies got to be dancing around out there and making big flashy things. The fact that he was compact and still able to make reactionary saves a few times tonight, that's a confident goalie, like a guy that's really feeling it, Tommy. Yeah, and here I like the one question, you're playing against the best. You could tell Stu wants to be in the net and keep this thing rolling.
Thursday night, Gager. Look ahead to many really quickly.
Another great test. Hernan and I talked about it, though. They've got a little bit of a depleted lineup, which I think can help the Edmonton Oilers take advantage of it. But look, that's a fast, heavy team. Kaprizov's having a banner year. Already talk about him possibly as winning the Hart. Very good decor, great goaltending. I look to see another kind of game like tonight where it's a showdown where you're just the waiting for the first guy to blink here, Tommy. There's good chances, but again, this is what I wanted to see, and that's why this is obviously the people of Sheboygan are quite happy tonight. But the what you want to see is this type of effort where there's not the big, huge mistake that ends in the back of your net. It happened once tonight, but there weren't any other of those types of plays, right? Everything else wasn't given. It was earned by the Tampa Bay Lightning to get those chances. And I think if the Oilers continue to play like that, not only I think they'll kind of pull away from teams. I still look at tonight as kind of a 3-1 win. That offside is a horrible call, but they got to keep this thing going, and I think they will.
Joaquin, you had a Gus Polinski Polka King type of night. And without further ado, I say polka, 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 as we send you off into the night, Mr. Polka King. Great stuff, Gager. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Take care.
There you go. There's our game analyst, Joaquin Gage. Great stuff from him. We're going to get Reed Wilkins to hop on, but we do need to get to the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game with Hernan Salas. Damon Bunting, obviously consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at DamonBunting Real Estate. Hernan, polka, 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 polka.
Yeah, this one's a tough one, Tom.
Ooh. What do you got for us?
McDavid scored, Draisaitl scored, Darnell. I'm gonna go good old Doc. I thought he was excellent. Hey, we
Very
always
nice.
pick Darnell. I mean, we always pick Draisaitl and Connor McDavid on many, many nights. But I thought Darnell Nurse was solid defensively. Was passing the puck just so crisp. A guy that takes a lot of heat. Again, I include myself in that. I was very hard on Darnell Nurse. I think it was all fair, and I think it's fair now that we're giving him his kudos and his roses and the flowers because he's been excellent lately, at least for over a month now. Tommy, he's been really, really good. Good to see. But +1, 23-15 on ice. He had 3 shots, 4 blocks. 2 hits, and like you said, he should have had an assist, but they're not going to give it to him. But for me, the Damon Bunting player of the game is Darnell Nurse, who's really been impressive as of late for the Edmonton Oilers, Tom.
Nicely done, Hernan. Salas, there you go. That is the Damon Bunting Remax Elite player of the game, Darnell Nurse tonight. I've got some texts that I want to get to in a little bit, but we have a treat for you. Reed Wilkins, host of the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, will join us now. Reed is back from work in the locker room, as well as hearing what Coach Chris Knobloch had to say. Reed, Rick, good evening, sir. Good to see you. You're looking dapper as usual. How was the locker room? We just heard from Stu Skinner and Darnell Nurse, and then give us a sense of what we heard from Chris Knobloch, who we have not run on this post-game show tonight.
I mean, Draisaitl, very high on him. Obviously referenced how difficult it's been for Nurse and some of the criticism he's faced in recent years. And Knobloch spoke highly of his game as well. And Knobloch just kind of said he thought this was a very good defensive game by the Oilers, that they just were very tight and under control and composed, which I think I would agree with. So, yeah, I think this was a pretty encouraging win. I mean, this is night and day from the first 10 to 15 games of the season, or wherever you want to draw the line. I mean, sure, Tampa Bay had some grade A chances, but they didn't have a ton. And I think, I mean, Tampa Bay has a lot of good offensive players, so there are going to be good shots. But really, I thought the Oilers were under control most of the game in terms of how they played, and then as a result they felt in control most of the way. I mean, it never really got hairy in the third period. Tampa Bay ramped it up, I thought, with about 6 or 7 minutes left, and then they got the power play. But they really only had the one dangerous shot on the power play, and Skinner stopped it with 8 seconds left or whatever it would have been, and then the high stick by Paul was clearly a high stick. That would have been offensive goaltending in basketball. I think it was above the rim and above the cylinder. But I got to say, Nurse is playing great. I think relative to, and again, I've said this a lot. I thought last year he was quite good up until the All-Star break, and then he wasn't the same after the All-Star break and for a lot of the playoffs. He's playing really well, and I know you mentioned he would have had an assist on the Leon goal if the Lightning hadn't put it in their own net, but he made a good play to start McDavid's goal as well. He reversed it to himself, then reversed it to Kulak again. Patient, kind of gave the Oilers a chance to get where they want to be in the neutral zone, and then they picked apart the Tampa Bay defense with a couple of passes to get McDavid the breakaway goal.
Reed, 10 wins for the Oilers in the last 14 games. Where do you think the confidence in this group should be? Are they starting to round into form? Is it sustainable? What do you make of this last little stretch and what it'll mean for the rest of the way?
Well, oddly enough, Tom, I don't know if they ever weren't confident, even when they were 0-3 and whatever the record was along the way. I think that they were frustrated, and I think that they knew they could have played better, but I think that that's probably came from a place of confidence that they knew they weren't executing and they could. So I think they were frustrated, but I think they were still confident they were going to get there. I think it's, look, I've said all along that I think the Oilers are going to be a playoff team. So I think it's sustainable that they can play closer to this more often than not.
Right.
I think they're a little more locked in. I think they probably realized, okay, guys, we kind of goofed around a little bit and weren't intense enough for the first month or so of the season. Let's start banking some points right now. So I think now we're seeing more nights like this when the Oilers are just solid. Yes, there are mistakes, but they're not brain cramp, 5-bell, give up a 3-on-0 or throw the puck in front of your own net type mistakes. They're still mistakes that you can recover from, or maybe you put your goalie in a position to still make a save on. And I mean, really the goal the Lightning got tonight, that was kind of probably the biggest gaffe of the game for Edmonton. I mean, Skinner handles the puck. He's not a good puck handler. I mean, he might be one of the worst puck handling goalies in the league, quite frankly. So he throws it to Bouchard, who throws it nowhere. And then I think it might have hit somebody, and then it winds up right in front of the net. And, probably a shot that Skinner, the type of shot that Skinner stopped the rest of the night goes in. So that's the one goal that went in where they kind of made 4 boo-boos in a row.
Yeah.
And it winds up in your net. So, but generally they aren't doing that. And quite frankly, I thought Tampa Bay, a couple things. I thought Tampa Bay was a bit fortunate to get out of the first period down 1-0. Because, we talk a lot about when the Oilers don't defend well or when they get hemmed in. I mean, there were 2 or 3 or 4 shifts in that first period when Tampa Bay couldn't get it under control. Mm-hmm. And not just against the Oilers' big guy. I mean, big guys like the Ryan line had a great forechecking shift.
Yep.
The goal that was negated by offside. I mean, Tampa Bay was asleep in their own end. So I think credit to the Oilers for jumping on that. They would have loved to finish a couple more, sure, but Tampa Bay didn't handle things in their own end very cleanly at stretches tonight as well.
Tom Gazzola, Reed Wilkins, Hernan, Salas with you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. The Oilers 2-1 winners over the Tampa Bay Lightning, 10 wins in the last 14. Nice little stretch here. They have a 3-game winning streak. You can still text us, 780-218-9999. You can get to the nasty chat. We're seeing a lot of love for Kasperi Kapanen. Hernan was talking about it a little bit earlier and brought it up. This team, when Arvidsson comes back, and then, in a month or whatever Knobloch was telling us this morning, when Kane comes back, guys are going to have to look over their shoulder. And, that's probably a good situation if you're the Oilers, especially about to face a bunch of really good teams and be tested the rest of the way. Wouldn't you say, Reed?
Yeah, I think Kapanen has been more noticeable than I thought he would be. And that's just because, you look, if someone's picked off waivers, I can't sit here and have high expectations for him. There's usually a reason why another NHL team let him go. But he seems to be embracing the opportunity. He is quick. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a chance on that wraparound in the second period. That was a good play. He seems like he wants to shoot when he has a chance. And I noticed a couple of times tonight, he doesn't just automatically look for Draisaitl. And there was a play in the second period. I believe the Oilers were in the middle of a change. And Draisaitl jumped off the bench, and he's basically right into the offensive zone down the right wing. And he was kind of calling for the puck. And Kapanen still kept it and did something else with it, and still made a good play with it. And look, you want Draisaitl to have the puck, and he wants it from his line mates. But I thought that was a good play by Kapanen, where he thought, no, like I see something here. Like I know what is going on. I'm not just going to automatically give up on what I'm seeing to give the puck to Leon. And I mean, look, everybody in the building loved the shot block. I'm sure everybody listening loved the shot block in the third period, and he toughed it out. And then I think he wound up shooting the puck out to center, and then still couldn't get off, and then eventually finally got off the ice. So yeah, you hope that it's creating some internal competition when Arvidsson comes back, who's, as we know, had an underwhelming start to the season, and now he isn't around for a lot of this good play. I heard somebody, when I was driving home, I think somebody wrote in about Jeff Skinner. Are we going to get more out of him? I don't know. I mean, this could just be Jeff Skinner, and in some ways, that always has been Jeff Skinner. I mean, he's still on. I guess he wouldn't be quite on pace for 20, but close. So I get it. You were hoping he'd be on the second line instead of the third. He probably still will get looks in the top 6, but at least there's there's a little more. There's still a very top-heavy team. I worry maybe too much so once they get against some stiffer competition consistently, but there have been a lot better stories on all the lines lately.
Yeah.
And Henrique's starting to play a lot better. Those guys as well, Janmark and
Good
Brown.
point. Very good point. All right, Riedrich, take a look ahead to Thursday and then the 2:00 start on Saturday in Vegas, or at home against Vegas, pardon me.
Well, I mean, I think they should be the underdogs against Minnesota because of what Minnesota did to them last time. And I believe unless something changed tonight, Minnesota's tied for first overall with the Capitals, I think. So they're having a great season. And they
are first overall now.
It ended 5-3, but the Oilers got that lucky Draisaitl goal and the Skinner goal, I believe, in the final minute of that game. The Wild dominated that game. They're very quick. Now, the Lightning are quick, and the Oilers stood up to it tonight, but the Oilers are going to have to be ready for that. And then the schedule worries me a little bit, having a matinee against Vegas. I would guess they'll fly back after the game in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Maybe have a noon or a 1:00 practice on Friday. I haven't seen the schedule. I don't know if you have, Tom, and then have the matinee against Vegas. But, I mean, the two games against Vegas have been close.
Yeah.
Right? And Edmonton, I thought, outplayed them in Vegas and kind of gave it away when they played at Rogers Place earlier this season. So I look forward to these, right? I mean, this is kind of a nice little week to get up for some games. And then the Panthers coming in on Monday.
Yep.
And then Boston's coming in, didn't they lose 8-1 tonight? Who aren't
they
as
got
good.
smacked around. They got in a couple of fights. Those are about the most spirited things that they won tonight.
Yeah, but good kind of this game and the next three for sure. Good sort of benchmark games, right? So and the Oilers embraced it tonight, and I think deserve the victory.
Reed, get ready for a bunch of matinee games this month because it starts Saturday against the Golden Knights. They do it again next Saturday against San Jose. And then they do it the following Saturday against LA in LA. And then they do it the next day against Anaheim versus the Ducks. So we're going to be seeing a lot of matinee action on the upcoming weekends. Buddy, you were fantastic as well, as always, looking dapper. And I'm excited to see you in studio tomorrow, too.
Right on, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Bye, Riedrich. All right, that was Reed Wilkins, host of the Reed Wilkins Show on EST from 3 to 6. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas still with you as we wind things down. Let's read a few texts, Nanso, get some final thoughts as we roll into the top of the hour. EA says, credit where it's due. Skinner and Nurse have been impressive during this stretch. Hopefully they keep it consistent. Shaggy and St. Albert chiming in. I'll get to Shaggy's breakdown here. Tight defensive game. Bouchard may have the patented Bouch bomb, but also has the patented Bouch blunder on the defensive end, which he showed tonight. Skinner came up with big saves when needed. Good defensive play by Oilers in third and most of the game. Careless penalty by Nugent Hopkins at the end. I would say that's unlucky, Shaggy. I'm not going to nitpick that one. His skate kind of got caught in there. And Shaggy concludes with, but get character win. Power play did nothing tonight, but PK also allowed nothing. Difference in game was Skinner. He was better than Vasilevsky. Let's hope Oilers going streaking. I like it. Thank you for the text, Shaggy. Anthony in Long Island staying up late says, Kapanen looked good tonight. Skinner strong again. Is it time to move Nugent Hopkins off the first line? Hasn't done anything all season. Nanso, what would you say?
I guess the whipping boy is turning to Nugent Hopkins now. I know he took that penalty. Good thing they didn't score because he'd be getting ripped right now. Nuge has to be better. I think a lot of guys still do. Not a lot. I shouldn't say that, but I think Connor Brown you need more from him. Janmark's Janmark. I mean, I don't expect a lot of offense from him. He's just solid all around. Henrique's coming around. Perry's Perry, like I've been saying. I think Derek Ryan's a guy that you're going to see in and out of the lineup once the healthy bodies come back. But Nuge, he needs to pick it up. He's playing on the top six, plays a lot, hasn't done a lot offensively, but I know it's the little things that the coaches and a lot of the media and the fans like, because he does do a lot of good things, Tom. So you're going to remain patient with him. He's not going anywhere, people. They're not moving him off the top six or off the power play. So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he's a good vet, and he'll get through it, and he'll be better for it come later in the season and well into the playoffs.
Nugent-Hopkins, 14 points in 20 8 games. All right, Nanso, what do you think about Thursday night in Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, we'll break it down the next 2 days, but a team that, and we talk about this all the time, every team's owned by one team, and Minnesota owns the Oilers, especially in Minnesota. So I'm intrigued to see who gets to start between the pipes. But this team's playing well, super well, and they've played really well against very good teams. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic that they can finally snap and get a win there in Minnesota. So it's going to be a good game. Gage alluded to it as well. Minnesota dealing with a lot of injuries. They were able to fight back today and get a shootout win in Utah there. But it's always tough in Minnesota. But there's a reason why you play the games, because anything could happen. So the way the Oilers are playing, I can see them picking up a win in Minnesota, and I think that would be great. But for me, the big question going into that game, and it's not even a big question, it's just I'm curious to see if they go with Calvin Pickard instead of Stuart Skinner, because they haven't been able to win there with Stuart Skinner, right? So we'll see what happens Thursday, but should be a fun one.
Hey, Nat, so they haven't won there since 2019, for crying out loud.
It's not. I can't even remember that, man.
I have it right here. February 7th, 2019, 4-1. The Oilers won that game. And since then, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. Edmonton all-time at Mini, 17, 27, and 6 with 1 tie. Their best run was when Mini first came into the league. The Oilers were pretty good in Minnesota up until about 2007. And then the Oilers, since 2007, have won all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in like 20-something games. It is awful.
It's been rough, man.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
Yeah. Oof. That's in the last 17 years, they have 7 wins in Minnesota.
It's crazy.
Woof. We'll see if they can make it 8. We'll see if they can make it 8 on Thursday. All right, that's going to do it. That was a great post-game show. The Oilers, 2-1 winners over the Tampa Bay Lightning. I tell you what, if they play like they did tonight and like they have been this last little stretch, they'll give themselves a chance to win in Mini, despite the Wild being the best team in the National Hockey League after a win tonight. Big thank you to everybody who watched and listened. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. If you don't already subscribe to EST, please do. Doesn't hurt. Quick click and you're good to go. With that being said, the Oilers win it 2-1 over Tampa. For Joaquin, Gage, and Hernan, Salas, and Reed Wilkins, I'm Tom Gazzola saying ciao for now. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.